It was 5 years ago. It was 2020, and I participated in a course that was called From Colleague to Line Manager, so from employee to line manager. I participated in the course because I was promoted to actually become a line manager, a team leader of my team here in Armenia. So I was the only one in that course of 15 Germans that led a team outside of Germany, and the only one who led a team in my special field of business. The organizer, the trainer, asked all of us to come up with challenges, things that really challenge us right now as young managers in our work environment. And had to think a little bit about that. And I came up with the answer, well, my team, when they are sick, they still come to work. They don't want to admit it, for example. They don't take sick leaves. And they don't really understand that vacation means being absent of work. And then everybody was looking at me in a weird way and saying, okay, so this is your biggest issue? This is the biggest challenge you have? Fair enough. And after listening to the others, I understood one thing, that I'm actually really blessed with the team I have here. They take me serious. They don't question my competences. So it's actually quite easy to work. But I also understood one other thing, that in Armenia, the concept of being absent from work is fundamentally different to the German one. So my name is Eric. I am Marco Germanati. I'm real Armenian without real German without Armenian roots, as you tend to say here. And after being and living and working 6 years in Armenia, I noticed a lot of things. And today I want to take the time to bring closer to you my concept of work-life balance. From an employer's perspective, from an employee's perspective, from a German perspective, from an Armenian perspective, I found myself in the middle. And I think I might be in a good position to talk on that. So it was 2019, I joined the team here in December. And at that time, as an assistant, not as a line manager. And it was my fourth or fifth work day, and I came to office in the morning, and my line manager, German guy, he told me, Eric, do you have 5 minutes? I'd like to take you to my office and talk to you about the thing. I said, okay, 5 minutes. It's my first week. What could I have done wrong? Like, I didn't have any responsibility so far. I said, okay, can't be that bad. Went to the office, sat down, and he said, maybe there are some technical problems with the Yerevan metro at the moment. Why would he ask me that question? How would I know? I said, no, everything works fine. He said, okay, but there must be another reason. It's 9:10. You were supposed to be here at 9 sharp. What's the reason? It was a new environment for me. It was a new job. It was a new manager. It was completely a different manager to what I had before in Germany. And I was a bit confused, because knowing that I have an office job, it actually really doesn't bother, or it doesn't matter, especially in Armenia, where no business meetings anyway take place before 10 a.m. So why would I have to be there at 9 a.m.? Give me reasons, please. And, I understood there are major things different. So I understood I'm supposed to be there at 9. Okay. Now, 6 years later, I run a team by myself. I have my own employees here. And now I'm in the position I can do things different. So whatever bothered me in the past, right now I have the power to make things different. I have to tell, I really appreciate the team I have. I have, on a personal way, as a human being, I appreciate the team that I'm working with every day. As human beings, I'm interested in their well-being. Because if we're really honest, they don't spend their 8 hours or 9 hours or 7 hours per day with me because they like me, because I'm a cool guy. Everybody needs something. And I know that we're going to work together, and it's going to be fine as long as everybody somehow feels appreciated and feels well. Results are the one thing. But talking about results, it doesn't mean that I ask my team to be lazy or expect them not to work hard. It's just about what do I offer, how flexible can I and the work environment be. So, okay, I said I care about my team from a human perspective, but I also care about my team from an economic perspective, because there are studies, and these studies don't lie, and that basically say that work-life balance, however we define it, work-life harmony, work-life balance, basically to feel all right with the thought of living a life and being at work, is the number 2 reason of changing jobs. And that's not actually only Germany, that's worldwide. So number 1, you might be interested what number 1 reason is. Number 1 reason is salary. Surprise, surprise. My opportunities and my power here is somehow limited. But my power is less limited when it's about the number 2 reason. That's the work-life balance. So basically, it doesn't cost me money. It actually brings me money from an economic perspective if I understand to care about it. If I understand to treat my employees or my team as human beings. So in the beginning, I mentioned a bit about the concept of being absent from work or vacation. So in Armenia, I noticed one thing also during the last 6 years, that vacation here doesn't necessarily mean to be unavailable. Vacation means to be physically, with my body, unavailable, but with my brain to be available wherever I am right now, on short notice, 24/7, because apparently many things are urgent. Now, don't get me wrong, there can always be exceptions, like things can really be urgent, and especially in like project-related environment, that is the case. But these should be exceptions. So if I expect my team to be available for work-related tasks during their vacations that they spend with their families, their children and their wives, or that maybe use their vacation for further education, I'm going to bother them right now. If I ask them to be available during vacation, during evenings, during sickness, it doesn't mean that they are good employees if they fulfill the tasks, or loyal employees. It means that I, as a manager, I have to learn. It means I'm a terribly bad manager because apparently I'm sucking at time management, I'm sucking at delegating tasks in the right way, and I could have planned better before. So there are these sacred times. Not sure who of you has ever been to Germany before, or Austria. Let's take Austria. But if you have, you might notice something, that you cannot buy food on Sundays or on public holidays, because these days are per law non-working days. Nobody's going to work. And still, our economy and society somehow manages to survive. So it's all a matter of planning ahead. I do it for me as an employer, and I do it for my team, because that's what I owe them. Time. Again, speaking about time, another very important aspect about work-life balance is to offer flexibility. Flexibility in connection with time. That means all of us, Yerevansis, people from Yerevan traveling to work, traveling home, we spend an hour approximately in the morning to get to work. If we have unflexible working regimes, if we have to be there at 9 sharp or 9:30, because that's where the traffic jam is like crazy on the streets. So we have an hour on the way to work, an hour on the way home, times 21 working days a month, times 12 months a year, times 45 working years. And if I deduct from that calculation already the 20 annual vacation days that every one of us has by law, I will end up with a number that's shocking. It's 2.4. 2.4 years of our lifetimes the average employee on the way to work and on the way home wastes in traffic jam. So there can be nice traffic jams when you sit in a bus and everything goes well, and there can be terrible traffic jams when you are behind the wheel and you actually have to drive and you have to be focused around you. So there are, again, studies that tell that there's a correlation. People that spend too much time in traffic jam, they arrive at work already non-focused anymore. It takes time for them to gain their focus back. They are statistically doing worse performance. And on top of that, they bring anger to the office. So that's a veto player to my idea as an employer who wants to take care of a nice work-life balance. So I don't really need that. But there's a solution to this. Me as an employer, if I work in a business field where I can allow myself and my team to do so, I can tell them, I don't care if you come at 9. I don't care if you come at 8. Come at 7:30, whenever you feel it's right, and leave whenever you say you have your job for today done. So this doesn't work with everyone. This needs training. This needs delegation. I need to bring my people to a point where they really understand this as something to appreciate. But that's then also my responsibility. So there's, I think you know him all, Albus Dumbledore. Let's make a major cut now, major shift. Albus Dumbledore is the headmaster of Hogwarts. And one time he said to Harry, in a very tough moment actually, Harry, it's not our abilities that define who we truly are, it's our choices. So the context is a different one, but if we transfer the sentence to 21st century work environment, what does it mean? It means that, okay, it's not our ability, so yeah, I could do it. Like I could pick up the phone at 9 p.m. or something while I'm watching a movie with my wife, but it's the choices. And this is very, very important because this is gonna keep us balanced. So we can work beyond the time frame, but it should be an exception. An exception is also when we speak about the topic of expectation management. So we have a lot of people in our everyday life, every day, that have expectations to us. That's our employers, the bosses. That's, in my case, also my employees. They also have expectations to me, and I better fulfill them. It's my wife. It's if I had children, if it were the children. It's my parents. They're far away, but still they do expect something from their son. And in Armenia especially, is society. It doesn't really affect me as a German here, but it affects Armenians much more. And for me, this is a disadvantage, but from an Armenian perspective, this is also something that, for example, I noticed about my team. They have expectations, additional ones to fulfill. Time is limited, energy is limited. So we can never fulfill all expectations, and at some point of time, we have to learn when to say no. I would like to conclude with one very dear personal story. So today is December 5th. In 4 days, my father will arrive from Germany. I don't see him very often. I see him twice a year and sometimes through the screen. And by the time I booked the flight for him, I didn't know that I will have certain, actually major, really important appointments in that week. And that's normal. I mean, we're getting towards the end of the year. Everybody plans everything in the second half of December. I'm used to that. But then there's one thing I wasn't sure. Shall I cancel it or shall I actually go there? That's a personal invitation from the German ambassador for a dinner. That's not only me. That's a small group of people. But still, how often do you turn down the ambassador of your country for a dinner? You shouldn't do that, actually. That's good business advice. And my dad, he said, yeah, of course, go. I mean, this is very important for you. That's, when is it? 11th of December, Thursday. Go there. It's fine. I'm going to do something there. Don't worry about me. I don't know why I did that, but in that moment, I checked on my phone the life expectancy. My father was born 1959 in Eastern Germany, near Leipzig in GDR. As a male, as a man, he has a life expectancy of 66.5 years. So if you add the 66.5 years, we come at the point where he exceeded his life expectancy this year in August. I mean, I know he's an old man, but I never had this that clear in my mind how fragile or limited time and moments can be. And I don't know how many more moments I will have to actually build and create memories with him. And I know that, especially as I don't see him very often right now, everything we do, every time I see him, stays in my mind. It makes me as a person who I am. So having that in mind, having the 66.5 in front of me, in the end the decision was crystal clear. I sent a very polite rejection email why I cannot participate in the dinner, and that I decided to spend the time with my father instead. So what I want to say with that is, it's up to us to prioritize in multiple times per day. And if we don't do this, if we don't use these chances, if we don't make the choices, like conscious choices, it's going to be somebody else who does it instead of us. And I'm not sure if I will like those choices. Thank you very much for listening.